Well, hello, everybody. This is Daniel Segura. I am the Director of Student Services for the College of the Arts and Media. And I have with me two representatives of the Center for Student Services and the CAM. We are working with students in an academic advising setting and hopefully collaborating with our faculty advising partners and sharing students back and forth, of course, as we move along that way. In this session, we're going to talk about some of the tools that faculty advising and all academic advisors as well can use in their processes. And so if we're glad that you're joining us, and please reach out to us. Megan will introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Megan Potts. I am an academic advisor with the College of the Arts and Media. I'll be going through this information with you today. And I also am acting kind of as a liaison to the theater and dance department and also art and design.
Hey, everybody. Brett Blythe here. Backing up Megan today, also an academic advisor in the College of Arts and Media. My special liaison group is journalism and music. So I'll be here to help in any way that I can.
Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the degree progress basics today. So just wanted to take some time to review these basic functions. And then next Friday, Sarah Grandstaff will also be posting or hosting, I guess, kind of another training session. She's going to be going deeper into some other features that we have and things that you can do within degree progress. We also do have kind of a manual to go along with the basics. And then Sarah made one for the advanced level as well. And this is going to be available on the CAM page on the CMISH website under faculty resources. So if you want to be able to access that, that's a great way that will show you step-by-step kind of how to do these different functions that we're going to be covering today. So we're going to be going over this content real time. We do have some kind of anonymous students that we're going to be working with to show you some of the different things. And then as we go along, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. But starting right on the landing page, when you open up degree progress, this is obviously the view that you are going to see. At the top, you might see multiple tabs right here. With this testing student, we only have one. But when you open it up, if you see multiple, there might be another one listed right here that has like a speech bubble with an ellipses. That's going to be a what if scenario. We're going to dive deeper into what if scenarios in just a little bit, but this is kind of what you're going to see right at the beginning. Under the degree information, some important things to note when you're working with a student is you'll be able to see the bulletin year that the student is operating under right in that degree information box. And then also if you'd like kind of a quick reference with how the student is progressing through their degree, the credit hour quick view is available. I do kind of want to give you a pro tip that it's not always the most accurate, especially if the student doesn't have like their major or minor declared just yet. This may be a little bit off, but it is there. And also this is a really good test student to show if you are working with honors students, they will have this little designator next to the student profile tab. And then you're also going to see the honors program protocol requirements listed in the credit hour quick view as well. So just as kind of a quick heads up. But next, let's go ahead and dive into what if scenarios. So I do have another test student that we're going to kind of switch to. But if you just click on that maroon create what if scenario button, it's going to take you here. So if you're working with a student who is thinking about potentially changing their minor, adding a minor, changing their major, whatever it may be, what if scenarios are great to kind of help show them how things are going to shake out. So when you're first creating the what if scenario, if you do want to change to a different bulletin year, you can do so. If the student plans on staying in the same bulletin year, no need to change this. You can just keep it the same. But you're going to go ahead and select the major that the student is interested in. So let's say, for example, this student wants to go into broadcast and cinematic arts for whatever the major is that they're interested in. Then you're going to select the degree. So this is a great time to kind of go over the different degrees that we offer, how they vary, what the different requirements are. And we'll say, for example, that the student is interested in a BAA, and then you're going to select the minor. This is not always necessary unless they are doing the BAA. So you can see if we did a Bachelor of Arts, we wouldn't have to do this, but with the BAA, since a minor is required, you do have to pick it to create the what if scenario. And let's just say, for example, the student wants to do an art minor. So then you would click view what if, and it's going to go ahead and load. A good way to know if you are looking at a what if scenario is we're going to see in just a minute. It does take a hot second to load. It's going to have that what if background across the entire page. So it's always useful to kind of know that, to remember what exactly am I looking at. What if scenarios do take quite a while to load. But this is always just another good time to kind of chat with the student. And you will want to remember, if you want to be able to view this what if scenario in the future, you will want to click that save what if. But then you can kind of scroll through with the student, see how things are going to shake out, what they'll need to do to complete this program. But let's go ahead and jump back over to the degree progress landing page. So when you are kind of reviewing this, you can see that you're going to have these different columns. Under the general education, you're going to have the competencies listed, and then also the university program. Now, this testing student is a transfer student. So when you do have a transfer student that completed the MTA, this is how it will show up. If you are working with an undergraduate student otherwise, their UPs are going to show up more like this. So you can see the student transferred some. Others that are not complete, they're going to show up as red. A little pro tip, when I'm working with students and I let them know, for example, like, oh, Nancy, the MTA is the Michigan Transfer Agreement. So students can complete this when they are working maybe like at a community college and then coming into Central. And if they complete the MTA, they'll have all of like their gen eds completed and they won't have to worry about taking any at Central. Good question. Sorry, I didn't dive into that deeper. But with the UPs, if you click on this little side triangle, it will drop this down. So you can see, for example, oh, the 4A is studies and discrimination. And this kind of helps show students a little bit more of what exactly do they have left to complete. And then right in the middle, you're always going to be able to see what degree they're working on and the requirements. So for example, under the BAA, it's just going to be that they have to have a major and then they have to have the minor. So that kind of helps lay out those requirements. If the student was working on a Bachelor of Arts, this is where you're going to see information like their foreign language requirement listed. And then over further to the right, you're going to see their major and all of their major required courses. If you were to scroll down even further, you're going to see the minor listed with all those requirements. In the middle is going to be the graduation related information. This is always two things that I like to note consistently when I'm looking at the graduation related is the minimum credits. This is always important for students, especially who are kind of starting to come up on graduation, making sure they are meeting that credit requirement. And then also another big thing that sometimes students can miss is that you do have to have at least 40 credits at the 300 level or above. In degree progress, and again, it's just really great at listing out what they have done, what they have left to complete. So this is a good way to kind of double check that information. And then specifically for degree progress admin users, which of course is us, you have the other audit information. This other audit information is not viewable to students. So they will not see that tab when they're looking at degree progress. Truly, the other audit information is just going to contain like what elective courses they have taken that aren't really going to be counting towards their degree requirements. But it's just useful information to kind of be aware of and for us to glance at. Any questions so far? That was kind of the main landing page, what you're going to see in degree progress. Okay. So we're going to be just kind of working our way down this yellow tab as we go through degree progress. So first we want to check out the student profile. So when you click on this, you're going to be able to see just some basic information about the student. So if, for example, you need to get in contact with the student, you're going to see what their global ID is. If you need a reminder of how to kind of identify the student, you'll see a photo. External achievements like other institutions they've gone to will also be listed here. So just some brief information. And again, like this is where it would be noted, for example, if they were an honors student.
Can I interject 1 second, Megan?
Oh, yep, go ahead.
I think I learned recently that the photo is only available if you are on campus or in the VPN, I believe.
Sometimes for some folks, I've been off campus and not on the VPN and seen the picture before.
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't know. I've heard different people share different experiences. So,
okay, I understand. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I don't see the picture if I'm off campus.
Okay.
Some students don't have a picture as well. If you're working with a lot of freshmen, because a lot of them come to orientation on campus, some people just may not have uploaded their photo.
Oh, understood. Okay.
Yep. All right. So next we're going to talk about the MAP tab, which stands for My Academic Plan. So we used this a lot last year for orientation, but this is great when you are trying to, as the name would suggest, map out classes with a student. It's really more useful for upperclassmen students who are trying to map out their last year or two, but when you are kind of working on it, this is where you would add the course. So you would just start by typing out, for example, like the class, the designator, and then you can see they'll start to pop up from there. Once you select your class, you would just click the green plus button and it's going to be added. If you wanted to do UPs, those are also available over here on the left. If you don't want to go too deep into it, you can just add a placeholder for the UP, or if the student knows exactly what they want to take, you can also add that specific class. Notes may be helpful for students who need to take like an electives 1 course of their specific major. And again, they don't have that specific one picked out. Maybe you would add a note. The big thing to remember when using MAP is you want to click the save button because if you do not click that, those changes will not be saved. So you don't want to do like a couple years of planning, forget to hit the save button. I have been in that situation before. It is very sad to realize you didn't hit the save button. If you wanted to take any classes out, you can always hit the X button as well. But the really nice thing about MAP is it does link with course search and registration. So if you map out an entire year for a student or even just a semester, once the student goes into CSR, they'll be able to click schedule with MAP, I think is the option. And it will show all the different schedule options that are possible with the courses that were put into MAP. So that's really useful for students. It kind of saves the time of like filtering through and like looking like, oh, okay, there's a section available on Mondays and Wednesdays at 11, and there's another one Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can just view them all kind of like at once, which is really, really useful. I think that students have really enjoyed that.
Megan, if you don't mind, I'm just going to pop in here. So Nancy, and for anyone else, the last of our trainings is my portion, and I'm going to be going into much more detail on that. So she's giving you kind of a quick overview of what it is and how to use it. And then in my portion, I'm going to be going through it thoroughly on how faculty can use it in conjunction with how we'll be using it. So much more detailed than mine if you're interested.
For sure. All right. So let's go ahead and jump now over to the academic history tab. So this one actually has quite a few really cool functions in it that I enjoy using when I'm working with students. First of all, you can sort the classes in different ways. So for example, if you click the year and session button, you can look at classes that are starting from like the very beginning when the student first started taking classes, or you can look at them from like the most recent order. You can also filter them in certain ways. So say, for example, you only want to view the art classes the student has taken. You can click that filter. If you only want to see what classes they've taken at CMU, you can click that filter. It's just a really easy way to kind of only look at the classes you want to see. If you want to do kind of some calculating with the GPA, if you click select all, you're going to see the classes will all highlight in green. And then if you click calculate GPA of selected classes, it's going to go ahead and give you that GPA. Now you can unclick certain classes and do it again. It will give you the GPA without those courses. Just nice to kind of get an idea of what kind of GPA the student is working with. And then another pro tip, if you do want to see the cumulative GPA or major GPA, another way to view that is on the degree progress landing page. That is viewable there. But I do kind of want to jump over to the undergraduate GPA predictor. This is really helpful for students who are trying to get their GPA to a certain level. I like to use this with students to kind of show them like, okay, if you want to get your GPA to a 3.0, say, for example, then we're going to have to make sure you get at least a B- in BIS 101. And if you get like an A- in Business 100 and kind of go from there, you'll be able to see what their predicted GPA will be. So that's always really nice for students, especially students who maybe had a couple rough semesters and they're trying to make sure they get their GPA to a certain level. This is super useful for them. And then also if you click on the undergraduate semester view, that's going to give you some GPAs as well. It will give you both the cumulative GPA and the semester GPA. Any questions on the academic history tab? Okay. Let's go ahead and check out the advisor tab next. So this is where, as the name would, kind of convert to, this is where you're going to see the student's assigned academic advisor. Some advisors also have their booking links here too. That would be available kind of at the bottom. So students can go right here to find out how to contact their academic advisor and also work on setting up an appointment. So it's just nice to be able to go there and right away see who their assigned advisor is. Next, we're going to go ahead and briefly touch on the graduation tab. When I do click on it with our
I have a question about the advisors.
Yes, yes.
Do they just list the academic advisor or do they list also the advisor for the major?
From what I understand, and Dan and Brett, please correct me if I'm wrong. From what I understand, it only lists the college academic advisor.
Okay. Okay.
So it'll list, it will list us, the college academic advisor. Once we go through orientation, everyone gets assigned. It won't show the faculty advisor until they have that meeting and declare the major. So whatever faculty member they meet with to declare the major through the system, they will then show up as their faculty advisor. So
okay,
it's once they have that meeting.
All right, I have a question about that. Steve Berglund signed all the music theater majors, for example. Though when they got to campus, as chair of Music Theater Council, I assigned them specific advisors to guide them through the program. Now he's retiring. So I was wondering, and I haven't looked to see, like, Ann Dason's an advisor in music theater. I'm an advisor in music theater. Will our names be on there? I haven't looked at that.
So let's follow up after the meeting, Nancy.
Okay.
And we can take a look into it and work with the registrar. So the registrar owns the tech side of degree progress. So let's talk afterwards and we can double check that, okay?
Yeah, I would like to know how that's going to work now.
Yeah, we'll get you straightened out.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
From what I understand, it's a pretty easy process to edit the advisor information in degree progress. So we can definitely fix it for sure.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and jump over to the graduation tab. So you can't see it, unfortunately, with our test students, but this is where students apply for graduation. It's a very easy process, takes less than 5 minutes for students to do. At the top of the page, typically, and you'll see a screenshot of this in the manual, there's the deadlines listed for fall, spring, and summer graduation. These are not hard deadlines, but they are deadlines that we like to list for students to encourage them to apply for graduation in a timely manner. So if you have a student who is freaking out because they missed the spring graduation application deadline, assure them that they just need to submit that app ASAP and it should be fine. Let's next go ahead and jump over to the transfer equivalency tab. Now you can see this under the transfer it's going to be listed right here in the menu of the degree progress landing page. When you click on it, this is what it's going to look like. So this can be downloaded into a PDF, and you can see right at the top what institution the student, or in this case, institutions, the student has attended. And then you'll also be able to see the CMU equivalencies, and then also if it fulfills a competency or a UP. So you can see, for example, this student took English 109 at Davenport. It came over as English 101 with CMU. It is worth 3 credits, and it's covering the English 1 competency for the student. That Chem class looks like it's coming in as Chem 131, and it's covering the student's 2B university program requirement. So this is always really useful. Whenever I'm working with transfer students, I try to take a quick look at this with the student when they're coming in. This is a great way to know, like I've had students look at their equivalency report and notice, oh my gosh, I'm missing an entire semester of courses. This is a great way to kind of take a peek and make sure they've got everything transferred in. And also how classes are transferring in. Sometimes some students could be like, well, I did take like an intro to theater class that I thought it would come over as this. Why is it not? That's a great way to identify that they should be taking a closer look at how classes are transferring in. So last but not least, we're going to be looking at the Notes tab. So with the notes, whenever I'm preparing to meet with a student, I always love to be able to try to take some time to look at the notes. You first at the very top, when you're creating a note, you can, for example, refer an advisor or an office to the student within your note, which is great. And then you can also edit the privacy level of the note. So you can make it so that the note is viewable by faculty, staff, and the student, or only by faculty and staff. So, and then when you create the note, it is editable for up to, I think, like 15 minutes after you first make the note. So say you forgot to enter some information. I think it's been 15 minutes since I made this. Oh, I can't. Okay. You could click edit, make some changes. Like maybe I only want this viewable for faculty and staff instead of just the student. You can click save changes, and then it will be saved in the way that you want it to be. I know some changes are coming up with the privacy level. I'm pretty sure the default is faculty, staff, and student. Is that correct, Brett? And it's going to be changed to the default for privacy level as faculty and staff.
So it's currently faculty, staff as the default.
Okay.
And what they're moving to is the default will be faculty, staff, and student.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that changes, anytime a faculty or anyone clicks on that notes, a pop-up's going to pop up for a limited amount of time, letting everyone know that, hey, the note you're about to save is going to default so the student can see it. So that way everyone knows that, you know, depending on how you write it or whatever, this will be visible to the student unless you change it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Other things to note when you're looking at notes, I always like to kind of see who did the student meet with last and when. I literally will meet with some students who haven't met with anybody in like 2 years. That's always good to know because maybe you need to review some additional information with them. And then context, you know, I sometimes look at a student's profile or something and I'm like, why on earth are they registered in like 21 credits? Who told them that was a good idea? And then I could look at notes and see that actually their advisor told them explicitly not to do that, and the student went rogue and just registered for those credits anyways. And then also notes are a great way to back you up as you're giving advice to a student. It's a good way to double check your information and also document it. When I'm doing academic planning with students, I always let them know I will list out their classes in notes. So if they're like, I remember she told me to take a UP, but I can't remember which one we discussed, they can refer back to the notes and see, oh, right, we talked about me taking Art 141 or something else. So notes are always great to double check to see what was discussed with the student and when. So that's kind of all the basic information that I was going to cover. Sarah's going to go deeper into like declaring a major and minor, how to edit a bulletin year, amendments, in degree progress. But are there any questions from the information that I've kind of covered today? Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you so much for checking out this